ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monday Night Melee. I am Remarkable Randall Reigns, and we are the Worldwide Wrestling Network. Tonight, we are bringing you 5 Monday Melee quality matches featuring the superstars of the Worldwide Wrestling Network, and I want to bring in my broadcast partner, the one, the only, Mr. Hamrick. Mr. Hamrick, welcome to the broadcast.
And as always, Randall, the pleasure is all yours.
And we are starting off tonight with a match between Mark Cantel and Justice Stone. Justice Stone made his debut 2 weeks ago in an impressive match in the Young Lions division, and this Young Lion is going to be going up against the Giant in Mark Cantel in our opening match. And just I want to get your thoughts real quick, Mr. Hammer. What have you perceived and seen in regard to both of these individuals that are going to be going toe-to-toe in our opening bout tonight?
Well, first and foremost, I think Mark Cantel reminds me a little bit of that guy from the company up north, Sheamus, in that they both could use a year-long membership to a tanning bed. And I'm not sure if Justice Stone couldn't use a 6-month membership himself.
So you are coming at this from the perspective of looking at these guys simply at their skin health instead of. I'm just making you. That was my initial observation. As far as these two guys, I mean, they're both capable performers in the ring. Don't get me wrong. I've only seen the Mr. Stone's debut from a couple of weeks ago, but he definitely seems like he might have a lot of potential in the future here in the WWWN. And as far as Cantel, he continues to improve each time we see him. And tonight, let's take a look and see what will happen when a Giant meets Justice. Here we go to the ring. And Mark Cantel will be making his entrance first. We have asked Mr. Cantel if he would start to begin using the entrance ramp here instead of coming through the crowd, and he said that he would make that part of his routine from now on. And he is coming down from the locker room area and making his way to the ring. And Mark Cantel, one of the tallest and well-built individuals in our league right now. And he is just a massively framed, destructive force, raw and untamed.
Making his way to the ring from the pits of hell, weighing in at 368 pounds, Mark Cantel.
And Mark Cantel coming up, and just look at this. Not many people had the kind of stride just to step right over that top rope. And then, oh, no! And Mark Cantel waiting for the appearance of his opponent, Justice Stone. And Justice
and his opponent
is an impressive individual, especially among our Young Lions division.
And one thing I would be quick to note here. I would like to applaud the WWWN Board of Directors for hiring a blind guy to work on a roster.
What are you talking about?
Justice is blind, right?
You just need to go sit in the corner. Just sit in the corner and think about what you said. But Justice Stone...
Is it the saying that justice is blind?
That is the saying, but this man's name is Justice. Not necessarily the concept of justice. And the fans are on their feet for this opening bout, looking at the impressiveness of both these individuals. 20 minutes on the clock. And wait a minute, look at this. Cantel starting things out with a tilt-a-whirl sidewalk slam. And, big old shoulder block by Justice Stone. And this is almost breaking into a wrestling match between Cantel and Justice Stone. Not exactly what you would expect with these two big boys here. And,
Cantel is definitely the bigger of the two boys in that ring.
Now, Justice Stone, with that duck down the kick, following it up with a clothesline, take it to the outside, but that is not necessarily where Justice Stone wants this match to be, with a big One Demon Club member like Justice Stone and like Mark Cantel, and that it was just an example, just pulling Justice out to the outside, essentially saying, "You want to be outside? Let's go outside."
And just tosses him up in the air and lets him fall. And that's got to be a good 7-foot plus drop.
At least, because Mark Cantel himself is almost 6'8", 6'9", and look, dropping him again, using the height to that advantage and letting gravity do the work, which is smart on behalf of Mark Cantel. And Mark, again, powerful Irish whip, now taking it to the other side of the audience here, letting them get a view of this brawl. And
to your earlier statement, while Justice Stone may not want to have this match on the outside, Mark Cantel certainly want it there.
Did you see that Uranagi right on the top of the steel guardrail? And now again,
Mark Cantel seems to be completely at home having this match take place on the outside.
And it really is just swinging around Justice Stone. And 2 weeks ago, Justice Stone legitimately just impressed us in his debut. And now it's almost like Cantel is making some kind of statement. Wait a minute. Stone with this back suplex right on the apron, returning some of the punishment that he's gotten, but
he's still making a bad mistake keeping this match on the outside.
And finally, it looks like Justice is bringing it back to the inside. He's still a little leery from the ropes, and high angle backdrop, almost like Dr. Death Steve Williams, but 4 times worse because of the fall. Cover 1 and 2, and Justice Stone getting up.
That looks like he threw everything he had into that kick out.
And wait a minute, whoa! Big schoolboy suplex. And Cantel now attacking the lower abdominal region, and kind of almost a little leery that he's broken a sweat, and big splash.
Well, he seems to be tiring out, isn't uncommon for a guy with his
Oh!
size getting spit in a match.
And that nasty forearm shot right to the temple of Justice Stone. 1, 2, 3. It's elementary after that.
And I think he needed to get that match over quickly after. He definitely seems to be tiring out there at the closing moments.
And ladies and gentlemen, Mark Cantel with his first singles victory here in the Worldwide Wrestling Network. And the fans are reacting to this incredible giant. And what an opening match we have had here in the Worldwide Wrestling Network on Monday Night Melee. Congratulations, Mark and Ted. And up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have a tag team match featuring the Kindred and the Boondock Bulldogs. The Kindred, a well-known long-term team here on the Worldwide Wrestling Network, who have recently made their return in one form, not their original form, but in one form, and Gaz Corbin and Cody Masters will be facing off against Jim and Bill and the Boondock Bulldogs, and that is next.
The quote-unquote family emergency was more like a family celebration, and he has been teasing some sort of a quote-unquote family reunion taking place in the WWWN very soon. And I mean, if he's always likened that group to some sort of family, and if that's if he's talking family reunion, I'm almost shuddering to think what could be coming very soon in the WWWN.
And that is very, very true. But let's also take a moment, talk about the Boondock Bulldogs. These guys have been on a roll. They are currently the Worldwide Wrestling Network #1 contenders for the tag team titles. And if there is any group in the Worldwide Wrestling Network that can match the aggressiveness and the willingness to bend the rules in the Worldwide Wrestling Network to the Kindred, that would probably be the Boondock Bulldogs at this point. I mean,
and you're not wrong in that. And the Boondock Bulldogs have the unfortunate distinction of being the one of the primary reasons that the no count out and tag team match rule was reinstated recently in the Worldwide Wrestling Network Online.
It's very true.
And their position as #1 contenders is largely because they were being extremely flexible when the count out rule was in place.
And that is very true. We want to make sure that we can keep our victories as untainted as possible, and it has been due to the actions primarily of the Boondock Bulldogs that we have had to take this stance and alter our rules as far as tag team and multi-man matches are going. It used to be a 20 count, but now it is a free-for-all on the outside. The referee will bring the match in. Disqualifications still exist. If weapons or illegal maneuvers are performed, then the match will be called to an end. But other than that, the tag team participants can feel free to brawl as long as they want to, but the match has to end in the ring.
Yes.
And so here we go. Tag team action, the Kindred versus the Boondock Bulldogs. And we're sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but it looks like we are catching this match in progress as the Kindred have already made their entrance, and they are awaiting entry of the Boondock Bulldogs. And there is Gaz Corbin and Cody Masters. I know that Mr. Hamrick is going to feel censored in regard to us dropping the Kindred's entrance.
No, I actually don't have a problem with dropping the entrance. Given that Cody and Gaz have not quite been teaming as regularly as they have in the past, and Corbin's ring activity has been kind of limited recently due to issues he had with the Bennett error,
Yeah, that's
as
very
he
true.
was known, and also due to some other, what is apparently some other backstage issues that have been going on.
And
Corbin has been very. Even what just happened right here, Corbin's been very off his game in recent months.
And Boondock Bill starting this match out with a big right hand, and Corbin trying to exchange the flurry, and it's like fighting a mountain. But Corbin is nothing but tenacious, and smart, and conniving, and cunning. The Boondock Bulldogs are all about aggressiveness, power, and breaking down their opponent. Just straight pummeling, raw aggressiveness. What Gaz Corbin brings to the table is a level of cunning and deception that we don't necessarily always see. And he is willing to go to great lengths, whether it is through an intricate plan or through nefarious means to achieve victory. We've seen that in the past.
We have seen that in the past, but we have also seen both Cody Masters and Gaz Corbin be more than willing to take a perhaps unnecessary degree of punishment in a match just to prove that, despite their mind games and mastery of ring psychology, both Corbin and Masters can take damage in a match.
And that is a legit truth. And here comes Cody Masters in for Gaz Corbin after that fish drop. And Masters, over the years, has really adapted his game as far as wrestling. He is kind of the enforcer of the Kindred, and he made his home. He's made his home in hardcore divisions and brass knuckles divisions, but he really doesn't wrestle like a hardcore wrestler. He wrestles very much more like I guess we could say an Anderson. He really applies that single method of picking a body part and picking it apart.
Well, he does do that, and I think the predilection you mentioned for hardcore matches comes from not necessarily his preferred wrestling style, but his preferred method of psychology that he's there to fight. He's there to beat his opponent by any means necessary.
And the Boondogs...
And the less rules, the better.
And the Boondogs just pummeling... Wait a minute. Off the ropes, this nasty Russian leg sweep clothesline combination. And, Cody Masters and the Boondock Bulldogs, they are just waylaying Cody here. Big gut kick following it up with a modified double underhook facebuster. And now, this is what I find very frustrating with the Boondock Bulldogs. They are proficient in causing damage, but they don't capitalize on it.
Well, and not just that, but I think one of the things, again, not just causing damage, but these are two, 300 plus pound guys who don't need, who could use their size in the ring just as effectively, but, has outside, and yet they choose to take stuff outside almost like, they're addicted to it.
And that is a very accurate observation there. And this is exactly the reason why we have basically abandoned the 20 count rule. This issue right here where
Yes.
Jim is just taking an inordinate amount of time on the outside and using that to do damage to Masters here with these strikes, these clubs, these knees, and again, just taking it back to the outside. And now Masters disoriented, and we've seen this before. Oh my God, that big jumping DDT.
But we've seen it before out of these guys, but it's not something you expect to see out of a guy that size.
No, not at all. I don't know how they fit in between the turnbuckles.
I don't either.
Every now and then, every time I see it, I expect them to get stuck in a nasty headbutt. And, and another backbreaker right to Cody Masters on the outside.
Now, going back to something you said a few minutes ago, and something we touched on earlier regarding Cody Masters, there was a point in the Kindred's history where most of their matches were contested, no count out, no DQ, and I think that also factors into a large part of Cody's preference historically for more extreme type matches or hardcore type matches.
And the Boondocks,
which is something the Boondock Bulldogs don't seem to have a problem with that either.
Nope, not at all. And so, wait a minute, Jim still trying to get Cody Masters. And wait a minute, look at this. Oh my God! Nasty's pile driver.
Yeah, that is a 300 plus pound guy doing that maneuver.
And it's a combination of a pile driver and the old kind of stump that Big John Studd would used to do that would work the shoulders and the neck. Cody Masters fighting out of all of this damage that the Boondogs have been putting him through. And Cody's been in there for a good at least 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, and he's been in there. He's been in there for at least 7 or 8 minutes. And
Masters able to create a degree of separation, and with that jawbreaker, and wait a minute, he's got him, and there's that Uranagi. That's his move. And he's going for a cover. Cody Masters with the cover. Jim gets it just in time to save his partner Bill, but Corbin running it, circling around and dropping Jim with that one-handed bulldog. And Corbin just came after circling around, not even attempting to protect the breakup, but just dropped Jim. Very smart tag team there, but wait a minute. Oh my God, Cody Masters drilled into the canvas, and now...
But again, he's not going for the cover.
And that has been one of the major issues with the Boondocks. These guys, they will do the damage, but they won't capitalize on it. And it's almost like they're just waiting until they know that they've got their opponent dog beaten. And Cody Masters coming back with the inverted DDT.
And the problem with doing that with a team like the Kindred is these guys have tag team
Wait.
experience.
Look at the straight! Cody Masters dropping down Jim and the jawbreaker. And Cody really needs to tag in Gas.
He really, for a minute I thought he was going to, but he's trying to get his shots in. Okay,
and Cody's tagging in Corbin. Corbin is in. And Corbin taunting when he really should be going after this is the weakest position that we've ever seen the Boondogs in, honestly. And now this back and forth. Oh, and a kitchen sink. And following it up with these straight right hands to Boondog Jim. And now pulling, tearing at the face of Bill.
I think though that taunting might have been well deserved.
Wait a minute, Cass Corbin. The twist of hate on Boondog Bill. This might be over 2 and 3, and Cody Masters with a double leg takedown on Jim, and the Kindred have just handed the Bulldogs their first loss here in the Worldwide Wrestling Network.
And as much as I want to applaud them for that, a large part of that loss is the Bulldogs not capitalizing when they had the opportunity to go for a pin.
And that is really very an accurate assessment. And the Kindred celebrating a victory.
I don't think we're going to have much time for that celebration, though, Randy. I'm getting something over the headset that there is a brawl going on in catering in the back.
That's right. I'm getting same signal. We are sending a camera backstage.
It's who I think it is. I'm gonna be shocked.
And
what is that?
We have got to get cameras. We've got to get cameras back there right now. No, not the crowd, not the victory. Oh my God!
That's not who I think it is. That can't be. That is.
Well, the victim is obviously Eddie Van Hazard,
but the person doing the beating here, that appears to be Mary Morgan.
Are you Bloody Mary?
Yeah. Bloody Mary? What? Gas Corbin's wife.
Bloody Mary Morgan is backstage and
wailing on Eddie Van Hazard.
Is this the family reunion that they've been talking about? Is this?
I don't know. I mean,
and this is at catering, and Eddie Van Hazard is being waylaid. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, your screen is not deceiving you. That is a woman beating up the Young Lions champion in Eddie Van Hazard. Not to age shame, but Jesus.
Well, I mean, to give a little
Mary Morgan has got to be 45 years old.
She's got, a 45-year-old woman who, granted, Mary Morgan, the reason she's called Bloody Mary is because of a string of intergender matches and death matches that got her blacklisted from at least a dozen promotions.
And we had to cut the feed, and all we know is that we will have to check in on Eddie Van Hazard at a later time.
We're hoping somebody's getting back there to break those two up.
But Mary Morgan and assaulting the Young Lions champion Eddie Van Hazard.
And Eddie Van Hazard was supposed to be in the Brass Knuckles tournament. I don't know if he's going to make it to the tournament after this.
And that was... Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with the next match. Our next match on the format, it is Sugarcane versus Desiree Howling Wolf. Once we get some order back to what is happening, we will be right back with Desiree Howling Wolf versus Sugarcane for Glow Division action. And ladies and gentlemen, up next is Sugarcane versus Desiree Howling Wolf in Glow Division action. And Sugarcane has been a part of the Worldwide Wrestling Network for nearly 2 years. Desiree Howling Wolf been a part of the Worldwide Wrestling Network for roughly 1 year. And Sugar Cane is coming off an incredibly disappointing loss at St. Valentine's Massacre to Encantadora. She waited nearly a year for this shot, at least basically 6 months for this title opportunity, and went into it with as a house of fire with a lot of momentum, and then going up against the reigning women's champion, wound up coming up short.
And the one thing that I thought was obvious or looming over that match between Encantadora and Sugar was Sugar seemed to be a pile of nerves going into that match. I mean, as confident as she normally is, you know, it was a championship opportunity and a major show, and I gotta wonder if the nerves got to her. They definitely seemed to in that match. There was just a lot of things that I think she wishes would have happened differently in that match. And I mean, let's see this evening if she can get back on her game with one of the standouts of the WWWN women's division that is, I mean, basically homegrown talent. She was trained by Erwin Roberts, and Kim Koza-san was involved with her training.
And that is very, very, very true. Let's see how these two ladies will go toe-to-toe here on Monday Night Melee. Sugar Cane versus Desiree Howling. And Sugar is out first. And she is sucking up the adoration of the fans. Sugar is one of the major fan favorites here in our Glow division.
And he is a fan favorite, but I mean, she's also going up against a young woman who is also a fan favorite. I think Desiree perhaps took this match to help Sugar gain some of her confidence back. That you know, Sugar isn't the wreck in the ring that she kind of appeared to be at St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
And at St. Valentine's Massacre, Sugar almost looked as if she had gotten a neck injury. Luckily, she has been cleared by medical, but that was a devastating neck breaker from the second rope applied by Encantadora, and an ugly situation that led to Encantadora's victory. And here comes Desiree Howling Wolf.
Virginia.
And look at this, grabbing the arrow, firing, and boom! Here comes Desiree, the warrior of the Cherokee Nation. And this is one-on-one Glow Division action with Desiree Howling Wolf and Sugar Cane. Now, either of these women could be potential contenders for the Women's Championship here in the Worldwide Wrestling Network, but there is only
and
one.
For that matter, the Glow Crown Championship.
Yes.
And
but right now there is only one number one contender, and that is Jada Storm, who will be facing Encantadora in the main event of Monday Night Melee next week for the Women's Championship. Look at Desiree starting things off, catching Sugar Cane with the inside cradle, and wait a minute, roll through O'Connor roll. And this has got to be infuriating Sugar Cane. Again. 2, no. This is Kane now fighting back, going for that big right hand, left hand fired back by Howling Wolf. Howling Wolf with the Irish whip. Dive down.
Wrong on Desiree's reasons for taking this match. I mean, she's trying to put away Sugar quickly.
She's trying to put her away, but actually what it looks like is Desiree trying to trigger something in Sugar Cane to get her to pull in that fighting spirit.
And you may be right there. And I mean, you know, it's...
Oh, and a big elbow. And it seems to be paying off as Sugar Cane fighting. And look at that elbow drop right to the heart of Desiree Howling Wolf. And this is the match that Desiree Howling Wolf wants. Desiree wants Sugar and all of her opponents at their A game. And big shot right to the ribs. And whoa, wait a minute. Oh, end of the trail by Desiree Howling Wolf. Cover and a kick out by Sugar Cane.
And I mean, I think even though Desiree, may be trying to trigger something in Sugar to get her to fight, she's definitely not going to go easy on her.
Definitely not. Here comes these double knee shots. And we saw on Cyclone Saturday night just how devastating that type of maneuver can be, as Brandon Alexander repeatedly applied a maneuver similar to and a kick out and achieved a victory over Matt Spade. But that was a hard-fought match. We recommend folks go back and look at Cyclone Saturday night to check out the tape and see what happened. And big shot by Sugar.
Both of these
up
women
and down,
are exchanging a lot of shots with each other in this match.
And I mean, it is, they are throwing hands, but at the same time, it is not a brawl. It's just they are just using.
It's almost like a game of one-upswomanship.
Yes, and now Sugar Cane utilizing that body scissors. We've seen her use this to wear down opponents before, and we saw her hit the Sugar Rush, but was not able to fully connect. Now she's moonwalking away from Desiree, going up to the top rope, and Desiree looking on at Sugar Cane. What is Sugar thinking here? This is normally a cross body. No, whip for a clothesline, sidestep by Desiree Howling Wolf. And Howling Wolf looking to be in control, rolling through with a clothesline, and duck down, and drop kick, and now she is fired up and stalking Sugar Cane. She's going up to the top rope as well, and this might be that diving tomahawk chop.
It definitely,
and it connects.
Definitely is. She uses that move a lot as a prelude to either to one of her finishing maneuvers, but I mean, right here she went for the pin like she was, thinking she had the opportunity.
And it looked like Desiree was attempting to go for the end of the trail, and wait a minute! She rolled out of it, Sugar Cane, with the Sugar Rush out of the end of the trail. 2 and 3, and Sugar Cane with the victory.
And a victory she probably welcomes it, given what's happened recently for her.
Sugar Cane able to take away the end of the trail finishing maneuver from Desiree Howling Wolf and charge right into the Sugar Rush. And Kate
Your winner,
may finally be back in the right headspace that we are used to for this incredibly athletic young lady. Only time
We'll
will
see
tell.
going forward. Yes, we'll see going forward what happens. But this definitely looks like a step in the right direction for her.
And ladies and gentlemen, up next we have a very interesting tag team match, especially considering some of the things that we have seen over the course of the last few weeks. The group that I, as a journalist, am calling the chosen of the board, are starting to truly assert their power and their prominence here on the Worldwide Wrestling Network. And tonight, we are going to see the Worldwide Wrestling Network heavyweight champion Jason Morte Jr. and Dark Jaguar team up against MC Adams and Shining Simon Sullivan. And this is
it's gonna be curious to see if those two men can coexist, even against a group who I think you have accurately called the chosen of the board. These men have obviously been brought in by the various board of directors members, but I think another interesting story here is, can MC Adams and Shining Simon Sullivan coexist?
And the question is, can MC Adams coexist with anyone? This man is, due to the nature of his militant mindset, it seems that everyone has to think exactly and precisely like him in order for them to get along. And even someone who has a similar background and values in Ken Sander can't really get along with MC Adams. But Adams has almost a following. We saw 2 weeks ago during the match, during Ken Sander attempting to avenge his falling friend Delucius Thunder, we saw a masked individual attack.
Delucius, you're not supposed to refer to him as Delucius Thunder anymore.
Delucius Thunder is still around. We have not heard from Delucius. He's in the hospital.
He was ended. Delucius Thunder was ended by MC Adams at St. Valentine's Day Massacre. He has been rendered non-existent after what MC Adams did to him, and the embarrassment he caused him and the injuries he caused him at St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Delucius Thunder gave up. He threw in the towel. He is a quitter.
And he quit in order to keep Ken Sander from getting further injury. And need I remind you, Ken Sander wasn't even supposed to be involved in that match.
Exactly, he wasn't supposed to be involved in that match. And which one of those two men are in the hospital now? It isn't Ken Sander.
And tonight we are going to have, but also we've got to bring in the fact that MC Adams has apparently garnered a follower in some sense, and a masked individual interfered in Ken Sander's attempt at vengeance and left him laying. And we are confirming right now that the individual that attacked Ken Sander was a professional wrestler known as Sniper, formerly of Guerrilla Warfare Wrestling, and now apparently has been signed to the Worldwide Wrestling Network basically as an underwritten contractee of MC Adams. I had no idea that MC had that kind of power and contract to be able to sign specific talent like that, but apparently he does.
I think there is more that will come out about this story in the coming weeks or perhaps months. But I think that the situation with MC Adams having quote-unquote signed Sniper to an underwritten contract may be only the beginning of things to come.
And ladies and gentlemen, with all of that going on, let's take it to ringside. The chosen of the board, Jason Morte Jr. and Dark Jaguar versus MC Adams and Shining Simon Sullivan. I apologize, guys. Production truck got us off a little bit. And the crowd with the feed. We are back and we are live, and it is Jason Morte Jr., who, since winning the Worldwide Wrestling Network Championship, has really gone to a much more simplistic entrance than what we normally associate with this individual. We can't really.
Well, I think some of that might be out of due deference to the other members of this group that seems to be forming around himself and one Joe Blade. This chosen of the board, they seem to be taking a much more business-oriented approach to what they do both in and out of the ring.
And Jason Morte Jr. Won the Worldwide Wrestling Network Heavyweight Championship at St. Valentine's Massacre, and he has a title defense coming up as well, but in singles competition, Jason Morte Jr. has not been defeated here in the Worldwide Wrestling Network. And that is a really, that's an accomplishment, honestly. To
yes,
go
it is.
undefeated with the caliber of talent.
For any singles talent or tag team talent to go undefeated in the Worldwide Wrestling Network is quite an accomplishment. We just saw earlier this evening the formerly undefeated team of the Boondock Bulldogs get their first loss to the Kindred. Will we see Jason Morte Jr. Get a similar loss in the near future? Rather, it's in tag team or singles competition, specifically in singles competition. And
flanking Dark Jaguar is Hex Hopkins and Joe Blade. This is 4/5 of this quintet that also includes Bully Demas. Why do I keep doing that?
Because you have a thing for Bull Dempsey.
But
anyway,
that also includes Bully Demas.
And we're told that the reason Bully Demas has not been has present with them recently is he is preparing for the Brass Knuckles tournament.
Yes, he has been chosen as their representative. And here comes Shining Simon Sullivan, the former World Heavyweight Champion of the Worldwide Wrestling Network. And Shining Simon Sullivan would love to get another opportunity at the championship. He would love to get a rematch against Jason Morte Jr. But
he would love to get that rematch, but there has been no indication from the board or anyone else who will be getting the next title shot against Jason Morte Jr.
And the question is, how will that happen? And who will be the number one contender for Jason Morte Jr.'s heavyweight title? And Shining Simon Sullivan has, and like we have talked about at the beginning, we have got a incredible tag team partner for Simon Sullivan, and incredible as in not to be believed.
well, an incredibly volatile tag team partner, given this man's militant attitude and outlook on life.
And MC Adams, he is another individual who has a incredibly impressive win-loss record here at the World Wide Wrestling Network.
And while he does have an incredible win-loss record, when he first showed up here, I wanted to agree with him that some of the losses he took were due to disrespect by the officials, and as some of that has moved forward, some of that has gone on further. I'm really starting to second guess that opinion.
And MC Adams coming to the ring by himself, which is surprising considering we saw Sniper make his appearance just a few weeks ago. And
I think there might be some underlying reason for that we might not be aware of.
Well, I try not to think too deeply to get to the minds of any wrestler here in the World Wide Wrestling Network. That's not my job. My job is to speculate. It is to attempt to uncover the actual facts from the horse's mouth, as so it is.
Well, and while that may be the case, I mean, we know Sniper's reputation is coming out of the closure of GWW, that he was known to be a hitman or a gun for hire type of person, that he basically, he looked at his target from afar and then took his shots when they were appropriate.
And that is his reputation.
That is what he did there. That's probably what he's doing here.
And Jason Morte Jr. starting off this match with a gut-wrench suplex, putting down Shining Simon Sullivan and stomping away at the former champion. Current champion laying in some shots. Oh, and a big bionic elbow. Shades of the late, great Dusty Rhodes. And looking at JMJ coming up. And big knee drop right across the sternum. And a kick, creating some separation, but JMJ with the fireman's carry. And the big luchador has a lot of backup at ringside.
And he does have backup at ringside, but you've got to wonder if that backup is there because he needs it, or if because they're just wanting to reiterate the amount of dominance that they have shown in recent weeks in the WWWN.
And Shining Simon Sullivan drops Jaguar with a flatliner, tagging in MC Adams, and MC Adams and Jaguar.
It seemed like a very hesitant tag.
And
like Simon wasn't sure about making it, MC wasn't sure about receiving it.
Very true, and Dark Jaguar stomping away on MC Adams, targeting with these kicks. And we've said it before, and we'll continue to say it until we can really figure it out. Dark Jaguar reminds us of someone that we have seen, and we really cannot put our finger on who it is. We've definitely got it scouted down to someone who has been a member of the roster of Pro Power Sport Wrestling and PWR. Oh, that big leg drop by MC Adams that has gotten him victory after victory. But Jaguar able to tag out, bringing in the champion, JMJ.
Which is a very intelligent move on the part of Dark Jaguar. And I mean, it's, just goes to show the cohesiveness that this group, this chosen of the board, seem to have with one another.
And JMJ trying to take control of MC Adams, and whoa, flinging MC like a weapon into the referee, and now MC, look at that neck breaker out of the corner.
Well, I'm not sure if it was, if that was the referee getting hit by MC, or Joe Blade tripping the referee up, or a combination of both.
And JMJ,
look at Joe's positioning right there.
And JMJ, after that neck breaker, does not want, wait a minute, sharp kick by MC Adams, and taken down with that, a variation of the Shining Wizard, and following it up, look at this combo here. And MC Adams with the cover, and Dark Jaguar not coming in, 1, but 3.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for?
And MC Adams,
And
ready?
MC
talk
Adams
about
just grabbed the
culture
victory.
shock,
Yeah.
literally
Times like this, to rhyme
with
like this,
a
so I had
1-2
to grind
blow,
like that, to shine like this.
taking out
on the world champion. I mean, and you gotta think that might put him into any sort of discussion about who the number one contender is.
and wait a minute, here comes Shining Simon Sullivan, and he is offering a handshake to MC Adams, and Adams is turning his back, and oh, the sucker punch! That man was his partner, and now he's laying in these steel chair shots, and that Sniper,
Spear and slid it into the ring.
and MC Adams taking out Shining Simon Sullivan, Sniper with the assist with the steel chair,
You ready?
and
I used to
MC
take times
Adams
like this,
and
to rhyme
Sniper,
like this, so I had to grind like that, to shine like this, in a matter of
they
time.
are
I spent with some
showing a
locked up
display
shit
of
in the back
dominance
the paddy
here.
wagon, cuffs locked on wrist.
Of their own.
of their own. I mean, that was an unexpectedly quick match, ladies and gentlemen. MC Adams and Sniper laying in and calling their shots here this evening on Monday Night Melee. There will be more information to come, and I am certain that MC Adams and Sniper will have something to say about it later on social media. And
I'm certain they will. I'm definitely certain they will.
And our next match, ladies and gentlemen, is a Young Lions match between Gorilla Von Cruz and Benny Banks. We started off with our main event, the Young Lions division, 2 weeks ago, where we crowned Eddie Van Hazard as the Young Lions division champion. Right now, Eddie Van Hazard is being transported to a local medical facility after being assaulted by Mary Morgan, and we have got a potential, what could be a number one contenders match between Gorilla Von Cruz and
Well,
Benny
I'm told this is being positioned. Both of these men are being looked at as potential number one contenders. The inevitable, this might be seen as, at least by some, as a number one contenders match.
And also, we want to remind the folks at home that Young Lions matches are 2 out of 3 falls. They can basically end by pin or submission, and these individuals are not allowed to leave the ring by any circumstances at all. The whole point of the Young Lions division is to train the next generation of the Worldwide Wrestling Network stars, and Benny Banks and Gorilla Von Cruz are considered to be at the top of the class, according to Bolt Jameson. And so let's take this main event to ringside for the Young Lions Division number 1 contendership. And out first is the worst, Benny Banks.
Making his way to the ring
I know
from London,
I've been calling
weighing in at
he's been
180
making
pounds.
fun of calling him that. And he's just wearing a badge of honor, a scarlet letter, if you will. But this is a guy who I definitely feel is not the worst. He is a very accomplished competitor, both as a singles wrestler and a tag team wrestler. He is a guy who endured months, and I mean over a year and a half of teaming with a guy and carrying the British Lanterns. I don't see how anybody in their right mind could call this guy the worst and make any serious disposition about it.
And Benny Banks, since breaking with Byron X12, has approached wrestling from a more ground-based game. He'll still pull out a moonsault or a diving drop kick, but he has gone to a much more ground-based focus. And Gorilla Von Cruz.
But I think that is because he is tired
Weighing in at 255 pounds,
the show for these fans. Are just as happy to see him put his health and his body at risk doing unnecessary high spots, as it's called, for the benefit of doing it.
And Gorilla Von Cruz, the machine. This young man is a powerhouse, to say the least, utilizing a sit-out powerbomb and a running punt penalty kick as his trademark maneuvers. Gorilla Von Cruz.
These are the two men who were involved in that championship event won it. And they both have a legitimate argument, if you will, that they should be the number 1 contender for that title.
And Benny Banks starting things off carefree as Gorilla Von Cruz gets focused and coming outright. And wait a minute, Gorilla went for a kick and right into it. Benny Banks is going for the worst lock, and it is applied and it's locked in. No help for Gorilla Von Cruz. And Gorilla taps. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, 2 out of 3 falls for the Young Lions division. And Gorilla Von Cruz, in the first 30 seconds, is fighting from behind. Benny Banks attempting to go for a cover. And Gorilla Von Cruz is not happy. But Benny Banks, I mean, this is what Benny does. He gets in people's heads, he gets people frustrated. And then he takes advantage. Sharp kick right to the back of Gorilla Von Cruz. And Benny Banks put down by Gorilla. Gorilla, he's going for that penalty kick.
This is why I made Benny Banks. I mean, he is wrestling very intelligently. He saw an opening at the beginning, and he got a quick victory over Gorilla Von Cruz. Under any other circumstance, I mean, that would have been the end of the match. But of course, this is Young Lions. But it obviously gives him an advantage going forward.
It certainly does. Getting a victory early into a matchup certainly puts a confidence in the person who achieved that victory and a fire in the and frustration into that opponent. And Gorilla Von Cruz is certainly showing that frustration. Caught with the elbow by Benny Banks. And Benny now attacking the legs of Gorilla Von Cruz. And Benny transferring there, locking in an armbar, working the elbow and shoulder of GBC. GBC fighting back and catches Benny Banks with an elbow of his own and a spear. We saw GBC get a victory off of a spear just like that in his debut match. And now putting Benny Banks in a hole. Chin block is applied.
But you'll notice he didn't go for the pin after that spear. And it's almost like he feels he needs to do more more to get anything on Benny, even after a move he's won with previously.
And that is the thing about the Young Lions division. It's meant to allow for the trainers of the independent union to come back, critique, and talk to. And there's
he just got a fall right there.
Off of his sit-out powerbomb finishing maneuver, and now we are tied up. The next fall is the victory for this number one contendership for the Young Lions division.
And we still have 16 minutes left to go in this match.
And Benny Banks sweeping the foot and that tornado enziguri that he has nearly perfected. And going for a quick cover right on the W.
Very intelligent move on
kick
his
out.
part.
And Benny Banks now stomping the stomach, taking control of the arm and kicking. What a nasty combo here. And this is that catch kind of ground-based wrestling that Benny Banks has allowed himself to start taking and looking at since his break from Byron X12. And Gorilla Von Cruz looks like he was attempting to go for the buckle bomb, but Benny Banks had it scouted, multiple elbows breaking up that grip. Irish whip. And wait a minute, Benny misses with the drop kick. And Gorilla Von Cruz.
Gorilla held on to make sure Benny didn't get a second shot at the drop kick.
And now Banks trying to figure out what he should do next. But that hesitation could cause major problems. Whip right into the far corner. And Banks, wait a minute, Banks is like, oh, shoulder block, kick, gut kick, and now stomping away, choking Gorilla Von Cruz.
But he had the 4 count in order to do it before he's disqualified, and he didn't even use a 2 count of it.
And wait a minute, Benny's going for the worst block and rolling through. This is how Gorilla tapped out earlier. Gorilla rolls over and gets the shots in, able to break it up. This match is still alive. Big whip, drop kick by Banks. And now Banks pulling Gorilla out of the corner. And Banks, wait a minute. Misses with the single leg drop kick again. Gorilla, sickle. Big sickle putting down Benny. And now Benny is in the corner. Big boot creating some distance from the Gorilla. And wait a minute. Hammerlock applied, but elbow right to the temple. And this is some straight up grappling going on until that ugly foot. Look at this, oh my God. And I I distinctly heard Benny Banks, after being hit with that forearm shot and then being linked up in that half-and-a-half suplex, say, "Oh shit."
I think I may have heard something similar there.
And Gorilla returning the slap that Benny Banks gave to him a few moments earlier.
But Gorilla is exhausted, I think, after that exchange. He's showing some fatigue there.
And Gorilla going for the penalty kick again, and he got all of it. I think Benny Banks is busted open. Deep leg hook. Will Gorilla be the number one contender? No. Benny kicks out. And the frustration is apparent on Gorilla Von Cruz's face.
Benny's face is showing the crimson.
What is Gorilla doing? Big Gorilla moonsault! And
he could have went for the cover right there.
Gorilla Von Cruz with the flippy shit.
Well, I mean, Benny answered with some flippy shit of his own.
And Gorilla Von Cruz, whoa, what? No flippy shit here. Just straight up power. Deadlift position. I just don't know exactly what forms of the human body Gorilla Von Cruz is grabbing onto. It's not like there are handles. That is a question that I might not want to ask it.
I was going to say, I think we have a general idea, and it might not be something we want an answer to.
Wait a minute. Banks with the tiger scissors and locking in the worst lock out of nowhere with the worst lock. And
he just
Gorilla Benny Banks is the number one contender for Eddie Van Hazard's Young Lions Championship. And after a big display of power, Gorilla Von Cruz taken out by a modified crossface. And Benny Banks getting cheered by the fans here.
They're cheering because they can't appreciate what they just saw in that ring. Benny Banks outsmarted and outlasted Gorilla Von Cruz. And I dare say he out-wrestled him.
And that is something that we will have to speak with Gorilla Von Cruz about at a later date. And ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, with the Easter holiday, we may have some delays coming up in Monday Night Melee and Cyclone Saturday Night. But after that, we are attempting to be going full steam ahead with weekly wrestling for both Monday Night Melee and Cyclone Saturday Night, as well as getting back to schedule with the Glow Division and the introduction of our abbreviated midweek show, Crossfire. Mr. Hamrick?
We will be seeing all of that content, and on the upcoming Glow show that we will be seeing, there is slated to be a number one contenders match for the Glow Crown title. So, I mean, we hope to have that out at some point this week. We normally would air on Tuesday. We hope to air on Tuesday, but with the amount of stuff going on recently, it is to be determined. But that said, as always, stay safe.
And stay over, and don't forget to at least tune back in on Saturday night for Cyclone Saturday, as at least we have a possibly abbreviated version of Cyclone Saturday Night featuring a title defense from The Outcast and a number one contenders match between Brandon Alexander and Matt Spade. Thank you, everybody, and good night and good luck.